Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday to you. Coming to you from the East Coast. Everybody on the West, everybody in the North, everybody in the South. Hello, how are you? Hope you are feeling your absolute best right now at this moment. And I am happy to have you. Very much so. I want to say thank you to everyone out there who has been downloading and listening in. I mean, I was absolutely so pleased and excited because you know what? Like, this is all about me being as real and as raw as I possibly can in order for you to connect to it and help yourself in somehow and take from it what you need. But to see all of the downloads unfolding and happening here in the last few weeks is just absolutely amazing. And I'm very grateful, very thankful, guys. It's so appreciative. And it makes me excited to keep bringing up, powerful information and wisdom that the divine decides to filter through me. So, and that leads me to today's topic, ladies and gents. That is, pretty much self-worth and self-love. And I've done a number of episodes on this on a few of my podcasts, but it's one of my favorite topics because I know that it is the golden lock and key to experiencing all that you truly desire in life. And so I'm going to get into a bit of a story first about my own life. And this actually happened this morning, so it's pretty epic that it's still so fresh and I can share it with you. And so anyway, I'll just get right into it. I was in my bed earlier this morning, like really early. It was still dark out. And I just sometimes when I wake up early, I just decide to go back and meditate if I have a little bit of time. And I went down into meditation, and then all of a sudden, I went back to a time where I was literally, I think about 1 year, just a year old, basically, or around that time. And the reason I knew it was me because I remember the street that I first lived on, from what my mom told me, but she showed it to me multiple times as I grew up. But I remember the street that we had lived on. And, it was interesting because I can just remember, in this dream, them yelling and talking and screaming about, how there's not enough and, we need to kind of hold back. We need to budget. You can't do this. You can't do that. And one of the most important things for us to realize is that we're all influenced by our upbringing. Like, as a matter of fact, I would honestly say 90+% of the people out there today are running the programs of their parents or their guardians, because here's the thing. From the time we are born to about 7.5 years old, we are picking up everything like a sponge that everybody around us does. So when you understand how important that is and you have children and they're around that age, be very mindful as to what you pass along. Even when you think they're not listening, because they are listening and they are watching everything that you do, and their little bodies, their little spirits can feel all types of vibrations. So if you say you're really being a nice person, you're being a mean person, they're going to feel that. Like, kids are not fooled. We kind of pad down their psychic and empathic ability by, well, not us, but just society does that. But when you're that young, you're just picking up everything. And even at the age of 1, it's so amazing how intelligent the subconscious mind is and the divine is to show me this. And so, would you know, that affected me for the rest, or actually the following years of my life. And what I noticed, I was even having a conversation with my wife this morning, what I noticed with this is that there was a big, long time in my life, and I'm talking about, even past the point of being 30, and I'm 38 right now, I'll be 39 this year. There was a big time where all I did was pick the stuff that lacked love or that reflected my lack of self-love. Okay? And so in getting back to this dream, after realizing that, what I got, the program that I got from that whole instance was, I've got to choose the thing that lacks the most love. And let me just go down the line to show you how much this affected my life. Okay, so we did a podcast yesterday on numerology, and it was I'm so passionate about numerology because I think it explains so much about us. It's not really like telling us what the future holds, but it's really telling us what we're all about and how we can make the most of our time here on earth as spiritual beings having a human experience. And so what I discovered is, growing up being an athlete, there were certain sports that I was drawn to. And so when I went back and I did my numbers, as we talked about yesterday, you should definitely go back and listen to that podcast. It's huge, universal numerical energy. What I discovered is that I could have been a professional in soccer, in baseball, and in track and field. And so that's according to what the numbers say. But instead, I chose football. And what's so interesting about that choice is this is a sport that literally beat me up left and right, left me injured, left me always trying to figure out what was going on. I didn't succeed in it as much as I'd like to, but I chose football over the other sports when I knew in actuality that I loved baseball more. I loved soccer more. Interesting thing about soccer, I had one bad experience and I quit. One bad experience and I quit, and this happened in kindergarten. So 5 years old, and I can remember being on the blacktop and playing soccer and, with the other kids and just being as fast as you could even think and just running circles around everybody. And I remember I was like running ahead of everybody, getting ready to score a goal. I tried to kick the ball. I stepped on it and slipped and fell, and everybody laughed, and that was the end of soccer, right? Done deal. Never really decided to play it ever again. Always kind of felt drawn to it in a subtle way, but never did anything about it, right? So that's an interesting thing about soccer. With baseball, I actually played baseball growing up and had a lot of success with it. And so much so that I would sit and watch baseball for hours. You hear multiple people say baseball is the most boring sport ever in life. But when you really have a love for it, it's really quite amazing to see, such athletic prowess and precision and accuracy take place. It's really, really a skill to be admired. But so I basically, those were two sports that I was really good at. But I chose football instead. Okay? I chose football instead. And what that meant, looking back on that now, is that was an indication that I chose the thing that gave me the least amount of love, but that was geared in the most amount of approval, right? Nobody cared if I went to the major leagues or the minor leagues or anything like that. Nobody cared about that, but they cared tons about me being in a position to go to the NFL and sign a big contract and help and give them cash and all this other stuff. But baseball never really got anything. So you know what? Because I wanted that love that I was lacking, I decided to move into the direction of football. And as much as I love the sport, it caused me a lot of pain, a lot of pain. So getting back to making those choices where love is lacking, I chose the wrong school. Um, Louisiana Tech was it was a great school, and there were some really great people, and I'm so happy about the people that I've met there that I have as friends. But in my heart, I really feel like that wasn't the right school for me. It wasn't. It wasn't because I just wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready to move forward and to be that far away from home at that age and on my own and trying to figure things out and messing things up and not having the right support system. But what I'm saying is a lack of self-love, a lack of self-worth will make you choose those things when in actuality, Southern University, and this is so interesting when I look back at it, Southern University offered me a scholarship even after I had a reconstructed knee, thanks to football. Even after I had a reconstructed knee surgery, they offered me a scholarship, but I chose not to go, right? And it had nothing to do with anything other than the fact that, and what's funny is I wound up going to Southern later on, and like maybe like 5 or 6 years later after Katrina and stuff like that, because I was in and out of school, and so it was interesting. But I'll get back to that story to show you how it kind of came full circle. But they were offering me a chance, a scholarship that would allow me to not only be closer to home, would allow me to play the sport that I wanted to play, which was football, but also kind of still have the support system of, you know what, instead of being 5 or 6 hours away from home, I was only an hour away. So if I really needed to regroup, I could go back to my support system. So that was there. And I shot it down. I shot it down because I'm like, I got to be on my own. I got to do this. I got to do this. So I made the decision to go to the place with the least amount of love for myself that was fitting for me, because everything is different for everybody. But for me, the best place to attend would have been Southern University at that time coming out of high school. So this not only transpired in activities, it transpired in relationships, right? I always chose the women up until my wife. I chose the women that were emotionally unavailable, the women that couldn't give me the love that I wanted, and it was just self-sabotage because I didn't have the love that I wanted. So why would I choose somebody who could actually give it to me, right? From jobs, I would choose the jobs that would use me up, right? They would use me up to a T and then complained when I asked for them to pay me or to give me the recognition that I deserved. They couldn't, right? They couldn't because I wasn't there spiritually. I just wasn't there yet, So I can come to terms now and forgive myself for making those choices from a lack of love, And then one of the most important things, and in all honesty, look, love and money vibrate at the same energy field, right? So if you have a lot of self-love, you're going to have a lot of money because love and money are the exact same thing. They're just God in expression, God in action, God in love. Like that's all it is. So if you have a lot of self-love, you're going to have a lot of cash flow coming to you, right? But if you lack self-love, you may get some money, but it's going to fly away and you're going to have issues with it. And that's exactly what happened. Like I would get abused, like from the standpoint of people shortchanging you and then not wanting to pay you and then finding some excuse. It was all a reflection of myself, of choosing the things that lacked the love that I desired. And here's the truth. Hurricane Katrina was the catalyst, the spiritual earthquake, so to speak, or spiritual disaster that shook all that stuff up, right? That shook all that stuff up because it took everything I was searching for that didn't have any love in it, and it directed it right back to me. Because you know what? That was a time, I was about 24 years old. And I realized that, you know, I really got to love myself. I really have to love myself. So I didn't know how to do that at the time, but then I started. And, you know, as I started to do that, things got a little bit better. My fortune got a little bit, it began to mirror what I was going through. And, you know, it was really neat to see that because here's the thing. Right after that happened, I attended Southern University where I should have gone beforehand. And when I tell you, I had pretty much the time of my life. And not because I was partying and having an amazing time, which I did a little bit more at LSU. Thank God I didn't go there. But no, but at Southern, what I noticed is the teachers were really invested in me succeeding. They would meet with me. They would explain certain stuff. I started studying psychology, something I really loved that resonated with me. Like, I can remember flunking all the accounting classes I took at Louisiana Tech and then turning around and getting B's in the accounting classes at Southern because the teachers believed in me. They were invested personally in my success. This one teacher who basically changed my life as a writer, and I put this story in one of my books. And Dr. Sims, I don't know, and it's just so crazy, but I don't know if she's still alive. But this woman gave me the confidence that I needed, and I'll never forget. This is back in 2006. 2006, yeah. And we were doing African American studies and literature. And she basically turned it into an English class. And she gave me the confidence that took everything I had learned up to that point, because I had some really great English teachings growing up, going to private school and stuff, but I just never had the confidence from anybody to use it. And Dr. Sims made me feel like I was Ernest Hemingway. She made me feel like I was Charles Dickens. And it showed. Like, this woman would take my papers, right? This changed everything for me as a writer. She would take my papers, get in front of the class, read them, and tell everybody else, like, okay, this is how it should be. Look how eloquent this is. And the whole time I'm just like embarrassed, just kind of sitting there with my head down. But she really was the first one that really helped me from a literary standpoint to show me that I could do this, that I had a talent for this and a gift for this. So Southern was a place that it cultivated so much love, and even the New Orleans area to it, of Suno, like, it was so much love in that environment. And I look back on it, I'm like, shit, I should have chose this place to begin with, you know? But you learn, right? You learn, and then you begin to see, okay, what is the place that is filled with the most love for me? And how can I choose that? What's the relationship that's filled with the most love for me? What's the job that's filled with the most love for me? The environment. Because you see, when you do that, and you're also spending the time to cultivate the self-love within you, it's going to come easily. It's going to come so easy. And it's going to be the most amazing thing in your life when you know that everything that you're doing is reflecting the love that you are. And it's just absolutely mind-blowing when that shift takes place, which is why we need to work on self-love every day. And you know what? I'm not saying it has to be something drastic. But you know what? Love yourself. Love yourself. If you work for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, maybe one day or another you sleep in an hour and a half. Give yourself time. Give your body time to rest. Maybe you take a beach day, if you live near the beach, or maybe you take a walk at some point. Maybe you go and buy that your favorite dinner, your favorite lunch. Like, show yourself you love yourself, right? If there's anything dysfunctional or anything that's not in a love enhancing sort of essence that's in your life, Take the courage to get rid of it, right? At this point in my life, I don't deal with any negativity. Anytime somebody's negative, anytime somebody, and look, I'm empathic. I'm a strong empath, and I feel all of it. I can feel when all the energy's off. It just, kind of happens automatically. I don't deal with it anymore because it did so much damage as I was growing up to myself, to the whole point. I went to the Chinese doctor, and he's like, your heart's weak. I'm like, oh no, we got to change this. This has to transform itself. But all I'm saying is, don't even deal with it. Anybody that's unloving, I don't care if they're in your family or not, don't deal with it until they can treat you how you feel like you need to be treated. And that's with the highest amount of self-love and self-worth. Don't even entertain it one bit, because I'm telling you, you will benefit. Your life will benefit, and it will amplify who you are and who you came to this earth to be. And that's somebody to revel in the riches of love and everything that comes with it. Guys, I want to say an intention here. Same routine as always. So you can do your hookup now. And I want you to direct this compassion to yourself first and foremost. Just take a moment. So if you do your hookup, just take a moment to put compassion toward yourself. And what I mean by that is, think about all the stuff that you've been through. Think about all the bad breaks. Think about, all of the wrongs that have been done towards you, all of the just unfairness. And just say to yourself, you know what? I feel compassion for me, but guess what? I'm strong, and I'm still standing, and I'm still doing and being what I love. And that's what counts. And just feel compassion for yourself there real quick. I'll give you a moment there. Good. Okay, so we're going to step right into this intention or prayer, whatever you see fit. Dearest Goddess in me, magnanimous, beloved, benevolent Spirit, it is our intention to feel unlimited and unconditional love, acceptance, and approval of ourselves at every moment of the day. Spirit, we ask that you enable us to see, unveil the truth. If there is anything within us, any type of energy within us that is lacking love, show it to us. Help us to accept it unconditionally and to release it and move forward in the event that our highest good and the highest good of all concerned will unfold in the most wonderful way possible. And so it is. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful Tuesday. Happy Mardi Gras. I'm from New Orleans. If you're from New Orleans or you're in New Orleans, happy Mardi Gras. So enjoy that. It's Fat Tuesday. I got a great picture I'm going to post from a masquerade I just went to. But yeah, enjoy yourself. And remember, self-love first. Self-love is the best love, which leads to the real love, which is universal love, unconditional love. And that's for you, each and every one of you. Take care. We'll talk soon.